Welcome to Streaming News Network by Claude McDaniel. News without the hype and biased reporting. Please like and subscribe.
This is Claude McDaniel with Streaming News Network. The baseball world is mourning the loss of legendary former Atlanta Braves manager Bobby Cox, who has died just weeks before what would have been his 85th birthday. The Atlanta Braves announced the news Saturday, calling Cox one of the greatest figures in franchise history and praising the lasting impact he had on the organization and the sport itself. During his remarkable career in Atlanta, Cox built one of the most dominant dynasties in Major League Baseball history. Under his leadership, the Braves captured 14 consecutive division titles, won 5 National League pennants, and secured a memorable World Series championship in 1995. The Braves described Cox as the best manager ever to wear a Braves uniform, saying his legacy with the team may never be matched. Known for his fiery passion, leadership, and deep loyalty to his players, Bobby Cox became a beloved icon in Atlanta and a respected figure throughout professional baseball. Fans across the country are remembering not only his victories on the field, but the lasting mark he left on the game itself. This is Streaming News Network. A federal judge in Delaware has handed a major legal victory to Fox News, dismissing a defamation lawsuit filed by Arizona resident James Ray Epps over comments made by former Fox host Tucker Carlson regarding the January 6 Capitol riot. Epps had accused Carlson and the network of falsely portraying him as a government agent who helped provoke or organize the events surrounding the attack on the U.S. Capitol. The lawsuit was initially dismissed in late 2024, but Epps later attempted to revive the case by filing an amended complaint. This week, U.S. District Judge Jennifer Hall ruled that the revised filing still failed to present a plausible legal claim and dismissed the case once again. At the center of the dispute was whether Fox News acted with what is known in defamation law as actual malice, meaning the network knowingly published false information or acted with reckless disregard for the truth. Fox News argued Epps failed to provide enough factual evidence to meet that extremely high legal standard, and the court ultimately agreed. The ruling marks another significant courtroom win for the network in a closely watched media and First Amendment case. This is Streaming News Network. President Donald Trump has signed a new executive order aimed at expanding retirement savings opportunities for millions of Americans, particularly workers who do not have access to employer-sponsored retirement plans. The initiative focuses on increasing access to individual retirement accounts, commonly known as IRAs, while also boosting federal support for retirement savings. As part of the plan, the administration is directing the creation of a new federal platform called TrumpIRA.gov. Officials say the website will allow Americans to compare and enroll in low-cost retirement accounts offered through private financial companies. The executive order also introduces what is being called the Savers Match, a federal contribution program that could provide eligible low- and middle-income workers with up to $1,000 annually to help grow their retirement savings. Supporters of the policy say the effort could open retirement investment opportunities to tens of millions of workers who currently lack workplace savings options. The order further instructs the Treasury Department to establish standards for low-cost investment products designed to reduce account fees and encourage broader participation in retirement planning. However, some economists and policy analysts are questioning how effective the program may be over the long term, while also raising concerns about how the federal matching contributions would ultimately be funded. This is Streaming News Network. New reports suggest tensions may be growing once again between Academy Award-winning actress Angelina Jolie and her father, veteran actor Jon Voight, as Jolie reportedly prepares to leave Los Angeles in the near future. According to sources close to the family, Voight is said to be deeply emotional over the possibility of his daughter relocating overseas and fears their already distant relationship could become even more strained. The relationship between the two has experienced years of ups and downs, with reports indicating communication has remained limited in recent years. Their relationship reportedly became more complicated following Voight's public comments surrounding Jolie's lengthy divorce battle with actor Brad Pitt. Jolie recently hinted that she plans to spend significant time in Cambodia once her youngest children, twins Knox and Vivian, turn 18 later this year. Reports also indicate the actress has placed her Los Angeles home on the market for nearly $30 million. Sources say Voight understands his daughter may be seeking a fresh start, but privately hopes the two can reconnect before she officially leaves California. Neither Jolie nor Voight has publicly commented on the latest reports. This is Streaming News Network. A growing national debate over immigration and criminal justice is now drawing renewed attention to policies used by some progressive prosecutors across the country. Assistant Attorney General Harmeet Dillon has launched a federal review into policies used by Fairfax County, Virginia District Attorney Steve Descano. The investigation centers on guidance encouraging prosecutors to consider possible immigration consequences when making charging and sentencing decisions involving non-citizens. Critics argue the policies amount to giving lighter treatment to undocumented immigrants in order to help them avoid deportation after criminal convictions. Supporters, however, say prosecutors should consider the broader impact criminal charges can have on families and communities. The controversy is also fueling criticism in New York City, where some lawmakers and commentators are calling for closer federal scrutiny of local criminal justice policies tied to immigration enforcement. Opponents of the policies argue they may conflict with equal protection principles and federal civil rights laws if immigration status influences prosecutorial decisions. Others counter that prosecutors have long exercised discretion when weighing the consequences of criminal charges. The issue remains politically divisive as immigration and public safety continue to dominate national debate heading into the election season. This is Streaming News Network. Long before podcast host Joe Rogan became one of the most talked about voices in media, a former television host says even praising Rogan on air reportedly created problems behind the scenes. During a recent radio appearance, sports broadcaster Craig Carton recalled his short-lived mixed martial arts program MMA Uncensored, which aired on Spike TV in 2012. Carton claimed network executives were unhappy after he publicly described Rogan as one of the greatest color analysts in sports broadcasting history, praising his ability to explain the sport to both longtime fans and newcomers. At the time, Rogan was already closely associated with the Ultimate Fighting Championship, commonly known as the UFC. According to Carton, tensions increased because Spike TV had recently ended its partnership with the UFC and shifted its focus to rival promotion Bellator MMA. Carton also alleged the network restricted discussions about upcoming UFC events, making it difficult to host a successful mixed martial arts program. MMA Uncensored was ultimately cancelled after one season. In the years since, Rogan's profile has grown dramatically through podcasting and sports commentary, while Spike TV later rebranded into the Paramount Network and Bellator was eventually absorbed into the Professional Fighters League. This is Streaming News Network. A recent appearance by former President Barack Obama in Toronto has sparked heated reaction online after he met publicly with Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney during a visit to Canada. The controversy centers around the Logan Act, a law dating back to 1799 that restricts private American citizens from conducting unauthorized negotiations with foreign governments involved in disputes with the United States. Despite its long history, the law has never resulted in a successful prosecution. Obama traveled to Toronto to deliver a keynote speech at a gala hosted by a Canadian think tank. Carney later posted a public welcome message and video online thanking the former president for participating in discussions focused on global cooperation and economic opportunity. However, several pro-Trump commentators on social media accused Obama of engaging in what they described as shadow diplomacy, with some even suggesting the Logan Act may have been violated. Critics posted a wave of reactions online questioning why the former president was meeting with a foreign leader while Donald Trump currently serves in office. Legal experts note there is no indication Obama conducted negotiations or attempted to influence Canadian policy, and former presidents routinely meet foreign leaders during public appearances, nonprofit work, and international events. Neither Obama nor Carney has publicly responded to the controversy. This is Streaming News Network. The television series Deadliest Catch has released emotional behind-the-scenes footage honoring deckhand Todd Meadows, who died earlier this year after going overboard in the icy waters of the Bering Sea. He was just 25 years old. The newly released video shows Meadows aboard Captain Rick Shelford's vessel, the Aleutian Lady, speaking about his lifelong dream of working in Alaska's dangerous commercial fishing industry. In the footage, Meadows described his excitement about finally fishing in Alaska, calling the experience bigger and more intense than anything he had known before. He also reflected on the risks of the job and shared a heartfelt message for his children, encouraging them to pursue their dreams despite life's challenges. The video was released in his memory following the tragic incident on February 25, when investigators say Meadows fell into freezing waters during fishing operations. Crew members reportedly launched a desperate rescue attempt but were unable to save him. Fellow deckhand Trey John Green III later said the crew did everything possible to bring Meadows back on board, but a harness reportedly failed during the rescue effort. Producers confirmed cameras were rolling during the tragedy, but the footage itself will not be aired out of respect for Meadows' family. New scrutiny is being directed at former Secretary of State John Kerry following reports detailing his past association with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. According to recently reviewed Justice Department files and communications, Epstein allegedly maintained a long-running interest in cultivating relationships with Kerry and individuals within his political circle over several decades. The documents reportedly reference Epstein discussing access to senior officials connected to Kerry, including former Deputy Secretary of State William J. Burns. The reports have prompted renewed political attention, with Congressman Ro Khanna stating that Kerry should appear before the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee for questioning. The documents also reportedly mention conversations involving several high-profile figures, including former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak, political strategist Steve Bannon, and technology entrepreneurs Peter Thiel and Reid Hoffman. At this time, there have been no criminal allegations announced against Kerry connected to the newly discussed material. Much of the renewed focus centers on the extent of Epstein's social and political connections prior to his arrest and death in 2019. Kerry has not publicly responded to the latest claims. This has been a report by Claude McDaniel of Streaming News Network.
Thank you for listening to Streaming News Network videos and shorts. Please like and subscribe to our news channel.